And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that lovely break. Hope you enjoyed the brutal OSC as we have returned with the semi-finals of the Sparkling Tuna Cup number 56. Our weekly, almost said bi-weekly, our weekly open tournament. If you're curious, if you're wondering what the hell is the Sparkling Tuna Cup, there is a story behind the name. We might get into it at some point. But it is a tournament hosted and organized by us here at the Cranky Ducklings. If you are interested, you want to help support the tournament, you can do so via Match Arena or Patreon. Patreon is constructed to fund our event, to grow the event as well, to help boost the prize pool and to pay out additional players. So if you are interested, Patreon is the place to be to boost the prize pool. Otherwise, thank you for tuning in and get ready, strap yourselves in for the semifinals. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Site Delta, we have our South Korean Protoss player, the reigning champion, the current Sparkling Tuna, representing Bleed Esports. It is NightMare. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Blue Zerg player representing the Platinum Heroes from the land of Belarus. It is Nikich. Here we go. Again, our semifinals is upon us. And as a reminder, we will also be having a random raffle before the finals. There is going to be a participation raffle for the players before the finals. For those that are curious what that is, we do have 5 USD set aside every single week for a random player. Random player in the bracket. So, of course, we do try to spread the love and spread out some of the prize pool to not just the top 2. I mean, a finalist could earn that raffle, true. They could just get like a boosted prize pool and a boosted payout, or you know, it could go to a player that got knocked out in the first round as well. That has also happened many a time. So we'll have the raffle before those finals. Until then, we're settling in. We are going to be settling in. And if you're in the chats, predictions, of course. I'm setting up so much. Trying to get everything going. But if you're in the chats, predictions are now open. So place your bets on who you think will be advancing onto the grand finals. Who will advance on? I mean, sure, NightMare might be the reigning champion, but at the same time, you know, Nikich, he's a wild card as well. He can definitely pose a threat to NightMare. I want to believe. Do you want to believe? But predictions are open for the next minute or so, so place your bets on who you think is going to be our first finalist. Meanwhile, we have a Stargate opener. Stargate opener here out of NightMare. Again, NightMare, he has been hot and heavy. He's been on the rise as of late over the past 6 months. Ever since joining his new team, ever since joining Bleed Esports, NightMare has been really leveling up, and his PvP and PvT have always been killer. What I will say is that NightMare's weak point has always been his PvZ. His Protoss versus Zerg has always been something he's been working towards and improving. But outside of that, he has world-class play, and it can definitely even threaten some of the top players like Showtime, like Hero, like Max. We've seen at NightMare, again, compare against them in those matchups. But we'll see. We'll see if Nikich can catch him off guard. For now, Adept gets across the map. Going to be threatening a Shade. Going to be a Stargate opener for NightMare into the Oracle. Harass across the map. And as we settle into this, oh, let's go. Oh, it's the clown, Poppy. It's the clown. Oh, give us more money. Oh, we're all offended, Poppy. We're all offended. Smooch. For those who are curious, there was someone in the chat that was like, I don't know, downplaying players for some reason. I don't know why. But thank you for the donation. Still appreciate it. As the Oracle does get across the map, getting to the middle line. One drone goes down. We take a lot of hits though. The stutter stepping. Oh, barely does escape. 2 workers go down, and NightMare will escape with the Oracle at the same time across the map. Lings, don't quite get much done. They threaten the third base, but they don't manage to force a cancel or get the Adept. More Lings on the way. Likewise, the Oracle is very low, but we do manage to catch another drone. 3 workers going down so far. 3 workers and some larva. Yeah, the Queen's having a hard time keeping up. Alas, unfortunately, no creep connecting the bases. Will delay the rotation. Will delay the Queens. Feels bad, man. So they do head on over. Meanwhile, back at home, interesting. That is a Twilight Council as the third base is about to finish. Forge is on the way. This looks like a standard follow-up. It looks like just Oracle into Blink into Blink and +1 into a standard follow-up. As the Depths, they do make their way towards the natural. Ling's not quite able to keep up here. Drones are being pulled. Oh my god! We're getting too much done. We get 4 or 5 drone kills already. And we do cancel the shade. We're getting even more damage here. Nikich pulling back too soon. 9 worker kills. Almost 10! 10 drones in total. And with that, NightMare takes a massive economic lead. Meanwhile, with this Bailey nest, do we just go for a bust? From here, do we just send it across the map? For now, we are. That's a mass amount of Lings being sent towards the third base. At the same time, Triple Oracle heads towards the third. Queens are in position. We do focus down the first Oracle. 2 more drones fall, but Nikich, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He's sending it across the map. Gets on top of the sentries. 1 sentry goes down. 2nd sentry as well. Boys are being pulled, but these Lings, they're wreaking havoc across the map. They need to. They need to get damage done as we get 25 drones here in the main. That is a game-ending amount of damage. Nikich is completely all in. It's all or nothing for the Zerg. It's going to be 6 probe kills. We collapse on the third. Killing the third base is not good enough. The third, it's not good enough at this point. We have to break into the natural. Nidus is on the way. How many queens do we have? 8. That's a good amount of queens. We have 8 queens here on the horizon. Nidus Swarm will finish. The Nexus does fall. But we have 2 shield batteries. And we have force fields. We have shield batteries. We have force fields. We have the overcharge as well. Can we break through? The wall is looking solid. Yeah, it's... oh, God. Oh, God. The Stalker refused to go down. The Stalker basically an immortal at this point, especially with the overcharge. Things... oh, do not get in. At the same time, Nidus Swarm into the main. We do rotate over. And the main base looking that much more vulnerable. There's no shield batteries, not yet. They're on the way. We do focus on the Stargate at least. Going for the Stalker is a very nice position. Very nice SimCity. We reduce the surface area. The Stalkers, they stand strong. Lings, they rotate over towards the natural. Army's not quite in position. We're getting some probe damage, but we need more. We still need more done. Oh my god, there are so many shield batteries. So many shield batteries. Nothing's gonna die. Not in the natural base. Lings, they rotate back up. But once again, NightMare. Beautiful positioning here at both bases. Making sure the Lings, they do not get any surrounds. And NightMare shutting this down. Completely at this point. And back at home, there's no macroing out of this. Like, there's no economy, there's no workers left. It's just, it's not gonna happen, factory. Smooch. We at least killed the third, and Nikich is waddling back home. But there's no Spore. The Oracle's still going ham. We had 1 Oracle left, getting 5 more drone kills. Aye, aye, aye. And things are looking a little bit bleak here for Nikich. The longer this goes on, the better it is for NightMare. How many Stalkers do we have? We have 22. We have more Stalkers than there are Lings. That's the game state that we're in. As NightMare is going to be re-expanding and moving out. And with this move out, it's going to take a miracle here for Nikich to hold. Somehow, if NightMare maybe staggers his army, if he moves in with only a portion of it, then maybe we can fight this, you know, 1 half at a time. Nikich is getting ready for a surround, but how much are we really surrounding with? It's going to be how many Lings? 33 Lings, and we get caught out. Oof. Bleeding off Ling after Ling. Nidus Swarm into the main. NightMare's in position. And NightMare will shut this down completely. The Queens are exposed. We can just chase them down. We can go for the aggressive Blink. We're now taking it slow, going for the third base. Ling's going to be engaging. Solid force fields. And GG gets called. The writing was on the wall, and NightMare will take game number 1. GG. NightMare will take the first game. And again, NightMare is our reigning champion. He is, of course, not just our reigning champion, but he's got a couple of Tuna Cups under his belt. Got a couple. Not as much as Cristiano, but a good amount nonetheless. And NightMare is the one to beat. So from here, we're going to be getting into game number 2. And we'll see if Nikich can bounce back. Meanwhile, the lower matches are still underway. They're still facing off. And we'll be jumping into that lower semifinals right after we wrap up this series. We'll get there. We'll get there. As it looks like we have our lobby for game 2. And it's going to be on Alkyone. Let's go. We go. I see Senor Sadsec in the chat. Ah, ¿qué tal, papi? ¿Qué tal? Do they also use their feet to power a third mouse? The lava flashbacks. Oh. It's so sad that that portion of StarCraft history, it's hard to really come across. For those that are curious, it was a tournament. It was a brutal tournament. It was a Zotag Cup, technically. I think it was around 2016, maybe 2017, after Brood War Remastered kind of, launched, and after it did come out. And it was a really, like, I don't know if I want to say historic, but it was like a pretty big deal. It was a pretty big event. And I believe the VOD is no longer available. The VOD was only on Twitch. It wasn't on YouTube. And I believe the VOD has since been removed because it just like got timed out or something. And yeah, smooch. If you were there live, then you would know. Remember the games, remember the matches. But here we go, we're jumping into game number 2, and spawning in the top right hand corner of Alkyone, we have our South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss representing Bleed Esports. It is NightMare. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the blue Zerg player from land of Belarus. It is Nikich. Go. Are going to be settling in. But now, going to be a hatch gas pool, standard opener so far from our Zerg player. Yeah, there's our gas timing. Everything's looking normal. Meanwhile, NightMare being quite fast to scouts. They'll slip in. Just making sure that everything's on the up and up. Unable to deny the expansion or anything like that. I believe NightMare did initially, yeah, we did initially check the goal base location just to make sure before scouting the main. Now, as a reminder, NightMare didn't do anything too crazy last game. It was just a standard opener. It was a triple Oracle opener into a third, into Blink Stalkers. Everything was looking as it should. It was Nikich that responded with an all-in. To be fair, he was forced into an all-in because of how many workers he was losing. But we'll see if we can make up for that this time and have a more secure early game. Early to mid game. I want to believe. Oh, the NightMare Cup. Cristiano Cup. Oi. Didn't you say you were... Yo, Funada Rex in the chat. I see you, Papi. I see you. Rex, of course, the Taiwanese Zerg player. Fun fact, last week Rex said he was going to play and sign up today. I didn't see you on the bracket. I didn't see you. Este Rex. Next time. Sign up. Play, Papi. Play. Much love for Rex. Much love. Back at home, NightMare going to be opening up with his Stargate once again. Similar to the previous game. Once again, nothing too flashy out of NightMare. Chris Toonhand. Oh god, I can't even say it. The Chris Toonhanner. Ah, true. He is a tuna. NightMare's just keeping an eye on things, making sure that we actually have saturation at the natural, keeping an eye on the drone counts. Adepts waddling in. Likewise, back at home, the first Oracle has arrived, and we saw how much NightMare got done with his Oracles in Game 1. We'll see if we can replicate that here in Game 2. So he does move out. Nikich taking his third base, still droning. No big signs of aggression, no Bailey Nest, no fast lair. Oracle dips in between the bases. The queens are in position. We do manage to catch up. No drones. So far, so good. Nikich also not cutting too many corners. We have a spore in the natural. No spore in the main. Ah, there we go. Is now on the way. We saw that Nikich was punished quite hard in the last game. Sun is playing it safe. And this time Nikich hasn't lost any workers. Not yet, at least. NightMare expanding, taking the third. We should be seeing a Twilight Council and a Forge momentarily. There we go. There's that follow-up. Once again, +1 on Blink Stalkers. And once again, Nikich responds with a Bailey Nest. Okay, we could be in for a similar setup here. Even if Nikich doesn't take game-ending damage, we could just go for a Link Bane Bust once again. Let's say thread in the shade. We're in position. This time we have plenty of Lings available. Taking extra gases. Lair is now on the way for Nikich. We're still droning. And Nikich in a much better position this time. As long as we can keep up with those adepts. So far we can. There's that follow-up. +1 on Blink. Bit of a gateway explosion. We're getting up to 6 gateways. Pretty gateway heavy. We'll be going for some extra warp-ins. Likewise, NightMare shocking around. Head up for the third. And not too bad. There's no sport. The queens are out of position. 5 drones. Yeah, 5 drones go down. Oh! We get a 6th. And barely a 7th and 8th. Oh my god. 8 worker kills towards the end. Very nice damage here from NightMare. Not game ending, but good damage nonetheless. Nikich will have to recover. Is re-droning. +1 melee. And we're going for a Spire. That I was not expecting. I was leaning towards Hydras. I saw the gases being taken. I was like, oh yeah, Link Bane Hydra. Like, into Lurker. Let's go. No, not this time. We're headed towards Mutas. Okay. Okay. I see you. It's a bold move. Going into Mutas like this, going unscattered into Mutas can hit really hard and can do so much damage. The problem is that NightMare is going to be active. Remember, NightMare opened up 6 gates. So he has Stalkers, is pushing out, and Nikich is going to be vulnerable early on. There's a window. There's a window where NightMare could take advantage of him. The problem right now, as Lings hit across the map, is that NightMare doesn't know that there's a window. He doesn't know that there's a timing available. Up! As we do not get a cancel. Ooh, the Nexus is getting so low. That was 13 Lings thrown away for nothing. The base is vulnerable, though, as NightMare's moving out. And we needed those Lings to defend. Uh-oh. We have 34 Lings. Spire about to finish. No roaches to defend. Nikich is vulnerable and NightMare's pushing in. Again, NightMare, he hasn't seen the Spire, but regardless, he does push out and this base is exposed. Yeah, Lings push forward. We kite back. The base is under fire. And Nikich, he can't save this. He's not going to. The base is going to go down. Big pickup. 300 minerals down the drain. Nikich expanding towards the north. But Nikich is in trouble. Mutas are on the way. And we're forced to reveal our Mutas. We collapse on the army. And the Stasis gets baited out. But we have another better connection. And as we force to reveal ourselves back at home, we have cannons on the way. Shield batteries, Phoenix production has begun. Nikich, he had to reveal his hand. And the window that we would have with these Mutas to get damage done, it's closing. That surprise factor is no longer there. The Adepts will distract the Lings. At the same time, Mutas, they get across the map. And the cannon isn't ready. Ooh, but we're trading against Stalkers. Not the best trade. Mutas will escape. Just barely. Leading out to 1 Muta. So at least we preserve the Muta counts. We keep it alive. Do keep it alive. Dipping back in. Catching Stalkers. Trading with Stalkers at the same time. Lings. Oh no! They run into the stasis. Not like this. The Ducklings are getting caught out. Likewise, the mutas, they don't get any damage. They trade with stalkers. That was 7 mutas for 4 stalkers. Ay, ay, ay. Not a good trade for Nikich. And these are expensive losses. Very expensive. Mutas, they collapse back in. We pull back to the cannons. We pull back to the overcharge. Yeah, the Colossus stand strong. The Lings, they melt, and so do the mutas. NightMare does take the fight. Taking down another muta. And now behind this, Nikich did run up to 80. Like, Nikich has a good economy, but it's these trades. Like, his army is so fragile. We're working with Ling muta, and it melts so quickly. Nikich was hoping to have some momentum on his side. Alas, not the case. Infestation is on the way. This should be to get into Ultra Tech. But that's still a ways away. Oof. And we catch more mutas. Yeah, the blink is brutal. 3 more mutas go down. Nikich trying to amass an army. And on the one hand, sure, like, NightMare, he's stuck being defensive, but at the same time, he's building up a death blow of an army. Like, eventually, NightMare's going to push out, and Nikich doesn't have much to stop it. Now, it is a little bit risky for NightMare not to take up into Archons and Storm. Like, that would be the ideal. Instead, NightMare, he's working with Mass Blink Stalker, which doesn't scale amazingly, but again, because of the lower Ling muta counts, we're able to push through. I should say, because of the trades, NightMare is able to keep up supply-wise. More so than he otherwise would. Okay, Fleet Beacon's on the way. There's the Templar Archives. We spoke about Archons and Storm. Now it's on the horizon. We're getting there. The tuna. Beautiful. We just moved out. Hey, they catch a Phoenix. Not bad. Catch the Phoenixes. I was curious if Nikich was working towards Ultras. It looks like we're working towards Hydras and Lurkers. Interesting. Very gas intensive. And not the most ideal transition here for Nikich. The reason why I say this is Nikich has +2 melee. So it would have been a little bit more in line taking him towards Ultras, but instead working on +1 range. Okay. Lurkers are on the Lurker dens are on the way. The Lurker production. +1 air attack. Oh, the Sky Toss, it's coming. Oh boy. I'm working towards Sky Toss. So once again, it feels like NightMare is one step ahead. What I mean by that is, sure, like Hydra Lurker Viper can be amazing, but it also struggles against something like Sky Toss. NightMare is already working on the next step. He was dipping in. Getting a mineral line, not bad. 14 probes. And counting. Phoenixes are going down. We get another mineral line. 21. It's going to be a one-way trip. Yeah, we're bleeding out these mutas and we will not be replacing them. We're going for the Storm. And Storm is denied just barely. And as we bleed out mutas, we replace them with Lurkers. Going for the Fleet Beacon. Oh, we don't get it. No shot. Fleet Beacon barely does survive. That was a big commitment there from Nikich. Behind this, Lurkers are amassing. Nikich is refining his army, working towards something more ideal. And he is at least aware of the Sky Toss. Right, like Nikich, he saw the Fleet Beacon. He's aware. Carrier production has begun. And thankfully, Nikich already has +2 air attack. Like, he has some upgrades for his Corruptors. It's okay. Nikich being active once again, moving on the right-hand side. Does hit the Nexus. He's in position. Same time, Nikich going for the natural. Or even the third. Trying to pull a NightMare apart, but we are in position. They roll on forward. They crash into the mineral line. We do react in time. Oh, not bad. We get 7. We do get 7 probes, but that does cost us a lot of Ling Bane and the Mutas. Back at home, massing up more Hydra Lurker. We have a Greater Spire on the way. It's going to be for Broodlords. Corruptors are on the horizon as well. Like, Nikich's army isn't looking too bad. My biggest concern for Nikich is his lack of spellcasters. Quickly double checking, yeah, no Vipers to speak of. Vipers are typically ideal with their blinding clouds, with their abductions, with their power bombs even as well. They have their place. We'll see if Nikich can hold his own. Not bad. Decent spine shots on the army. Decent connections. At the same time, Ling runs into a brick wall. The wall is solid. Bailings running into the carriers. Decent hold position micro, getting 5 probes. At the same time, Storm zoning away the Ling Hydra. But we're breaking through. We're pushing up the ramp. There's not enough Protoss here to defend the gold. And the gold base is going to go down. Can we get the mothership? Mothership is low from earlier. Nah, mothership will survive. And has the Zerg army overextended? Well, looks like we hold our own. Storm gets thrown down and NightMare has to back up. Nikich taking a good fight. Again, these lurkers, they took down so much of the ground army. Storm's turning Nikich away. Behind this, getting to 16 corruptors. Lurker count still looking solid. While the ship went down, Nikich still pushing forward. I'm worried we're overextending a little bit here. Yeah, not enough anti-air. Big overextension by the Zerg. We have to back off. That was like, what, 2-3 lurkers going down? Aye, aye, aye. Okay, we need the ground army. Lurker Zubaro. This is why I worry that we maybe made too many corruptors, and we need to replace those lurkers. We need a stronger lurker count here against what NightMare has. Nikich is maxed out. To deny the gold, NightMare, his economy is struggling here. He lost a lot of probes earlier. He hasn't replaced them. Probe count is low. And Nikich, can we pull this off? Freeing up some supply, killing his own queens. We have an air carapace on the way. Lings, they slip in. This time the wall is wide open. Lings, they slip into the main. One carrier goes down. That's a big Archon volley. The Corruptors, they took a lot of damage. So far worth it. Meanwhile, Lings in the main. 4 probes. Not bad. NightMare does rotate around, looking for a way in. Zealot run by. Ooh, getting drone kills. 9 workers go down. Massive storm with the Corruptors. And the Zealot run by doesn't stop. 17 drones. Oh, the Zealots are getting far too much done. 17 workers fall. We distract the main army. NightMare pushing forward. Lurkers looking a bit exposed. They have no supports. Yeah, the Corruptors, they can maybe clean up the air army. Well, what about the Lurkers on the ground? As the carrier army is reset. And 2 Lurkers, they barely do hold. No detection. Let's go. No detection. The 2 Lurkers, they hold. They barely hold the line. Prism into the main. No warp in, not yet. And that wasn't the worst fight for Nikich. Like, thankfully for Nikich, he has a bank, right? He has a bank, he can replenish his army, he can rebuild. Replacing those Corruptors. While the ship, War Prism does recall back. There we go, 13 more Lurkers on the way. They're going mainly Lurker Corruptor. Rotating around, NightMare out of position. We do catch some Lurkers, but we hit the gold. And once again, the win condition for Nikich denied the 5th base over and over again. The gold base will go down. And then we get the hell out of here. Gonna be pulling back. Sieging up, replacing this or replenishing with more corruptors. Getting ready for the carriers. And Nikich, he's holding his own. NightMare long distance mining is running out of money. He is running out of money here. Just once again getting shots off. Vipers have it right. Let's go. We have our Vipers. We can abduct. We can yoink in. NightMare forced to expand towards the left-hand side. Taking another base. Lurkers, yeah, they're slowly pushing forward. Massive spine shields going up. Oh my god. A lot of the shields stripped away from the ground army. And NightMare being bullied back. At the same time, Ling Hydra catching reinforcements. The mortals are on the way. Massive storms and feedbacks. At Templar, they're holding their own. At the same time, big Zealot Archon counterattack. And Nikich out of position, he's racing back. Ooh, and the Lurkers, they're left on their own. They're left all on their own. Yeah, massive losses for Nikich. He's going to shut down the carriers, but what else? Oh, you get the Corruptor. I mean, the Colossus. The other one. Colossus does full. We get the base. Yeah, Nikich, these were expensive losses for the Zerg. How many Lurkers was that? That was 12. 12 Lurkers going down. Again, they were left on their own. They got completely shut down. And Nikich is in trouble. Our Zerg player is in a lot of trouble here. How many Lurkers do we have left? We have 4 Lurkers. That's not going to be good enough. And the ground army can break through. And we collapse on top of the Lurkers. We get one of them. There's 3 left. 3 Lurkers remaining. Can we shut this down? A massive storm. The storm on the Hydras. It's brutal. Gold base is going to go down. At the same time, we have Zealots towards the south on all the bases in all the mineral lines. And Nikich, he's falling apart. Nikich had a massive advantage earlier. He was ahead. He was in the driver's seat, but alas, the non-stop Zealot counterattacks, throwing away too many Lurkers as well. And NightMare, he's doing it. He is doing it. Does kite back. Ooh. The Lurker doing a lot of damage. No detection. No detection for the Protoss. Meanwhile, we're still getting more worker kills here. 17, 20 drones going down. 20 worker kills. 23 even. Prism making its way to the main. Yeah, brutal losses for Nikich. Nikich trying to keep up. Warping into the main. The Lurker's getting caught out. We get one. Detection has arrived. And NightMare. What's important? The most important thing right now is that he has a 5th. He has a fully fresh mining base up and running. NightMare can now sustain himself. And Nikich, she's getting caught out. I say that. We collapse over the High Templar. We get one. There's one left. The final storm. That was the final storm for NightMare. Oh, it's still so close. Oh, so close. We clean up the Stalks. We clean up the High Templar. What do we have left? 2 Immortals. Nikich, we can still do this. We can still push in. There's 1 shield battery. Overcharge is popped. We need to focus it down. Yeah, shield battery does fall. We go for the Immortals. We get 1. And we get 2. Both Immortals do go down. And Nikich, can we break through? We're so close. We get on top of the base. Probes are going down. Remember, the most important mining base for NightMare. At the same time, Zealot counterattack across the map. We will defend. The Nexus falls. And there's no mining at the natural. There's no mining in the main. We have, what, 3 patches here at the 3rd. 3 patches here at the 4th. NightMare is running. He's been running out of money this entire time. And Nikich has a mining base. That's what's important. He's got top left. And center left. Nikich has an economy. Not the best economy, but it's better than NightMare's. That's all that matters, Pat. That's all that matters. Lings piling in. Observer is going to get shut down. We have the one Broodlord. Let's go. The one lone Brood. Now, really nice juggling here out of NightMare, saving the Immortals. And GG gets called. NightMare, he runs out of steam, and we're going to the ace match. GG. Oh my god. It's crazy. GG, well played. Nikich ties us up 1-1, and we are going to the ace match. Whew. Oh my god. GG, well played. Again, a very intense game, very back and forth. For a while there, Nikich was in control, but we saw NightMare just pop off with these massive Zealot counterattacks towards the north, towards the south. Did create an opening for himself because of the Zealot run-bys. It did force Nikich to pull away with his Ling Hydra, which meant that his lurkers were exposed, and we saw a couple of times, like 2 or 3 times, where NightMare would reset the lurker count time and time again, which allowed him to keep up and maintain himself. Eventually got his 5th base, but that's what it kind of came down to, is that Nikich never allowed a 6th base to get up and running, and even the 5th, it took a while to really get going as well. Nikich was always there to contest that 5th Nexus and make sure that NightMare was not able to mine freely from it. GG, well played. A very intense series, and our players are asking for a break. I fully understand. Nikich and NightMare, they're asking for a break. They're asking for a moment here to breathe. And when they come back, we'll have the ace match. We will have the final game. We're getting there. Are getting there. Oh my god. And this is what I mean. Like, again, sure, we've had typically players like Christiana typically like threaten and even defeat NightMare. But shout out to Nikich. You know, it's not easy to make NightMare bleed. In a lot of these other tournaments, in previous Tuna Cups, if NightMare rocks up and if there isn't Christiana there to stop him, then he barely drops a map. Here, being forced at the ace match. Impressive. Impressive stuff here out of Nikich. Let's go. But yeah, our players are asking for a moment. But we have our lobby. Do have our lobby. And we're going to be loading into Oceanborn as the final game. Let's go. Let us go. We are loading in. Meanwhile, do we have our lower semis? We do. We do have our lower semis as well. This just in, Geralt, he took down GG Machine 2-0, and after this semifinals, we'll be jumping into Geralt versus Nikich in the lower semis in a best of 3. We'll get there. We will get there. As the ace match is upon us, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss representing Bleed Esports. It is NightMare. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the Blue Zerg representing the Platinum Heroes. Also representing the Platinum Heroes from the land of Belarus, it is Nikich. For a moment there, I blanked out because he has no clan tag on NA. But he does represent the Platinum Heroes. And can he cause the upset? Can he shut NightMare down before even reaching the finals? We'll see if Nikich is the chosen one. Is he the new Tuna? That's the question. We shall see. Now, what I will say loading into Oceanborn is that this map is known for more aggressive builds, more aggressive styles. Alcyone leans towards and lends towards longer macro games just because of the size of the map. There's so many more bases to take. The rush distance by ground is longer as well on Alcyone, so that's again why we can have like a longer back and forth and more bases being taken as well, at least from the side of the Zerg. On Oceanborn, it's a little bit more difficult to pull that off, so we'll see if we can. For now, Gate Expand, standard opener out of NightMare. Likewise, Hatch Gas Pool. Nikich is not going for anything too crazy early on. Here we go. Here we go. As we are going to be settling down. Calm down, Bobby. Calm down. Catching up the chat. Yo, I see the other Zerg players reacting. See Rex. I see Demi as well. Senor Demi. Get that going. So, yo, Demi, what are you playing? It's the Demi. Rex as well. Next week. Playing Tuna Cup. As once again going to be a Stargate open out of NightMare. He has yet to deviate. Every game so far has been Stargate into Oracle, into a third base, into +1 and Blink. It's been the same build every game so far to NightMare. We'll keep an eye on him though. We'll keep an eye on him. Likewise, Nikich getting into his own third, droning up. We're not staying in gas, no early lair or anything crazy like that. Just kind of calming down and easing into the ace match. Again, I'm more than happy to see that it is an ace match here, that we're going all the way to game 3. Nikich already achieving more than at least I thought. Can he go even further? I want to believe. That first Oracle's on the way. Overlord is going to be able to dip in and confirm. Should be able to get confirmation. And from here, really, I'm just curious to see if NightMare does go for an earlier Twilight Council. That's really what I'm kind of keeping my eye out for. Earlier Twilight Council. Maybe we skip the Forge, head towards Glaives. NightMare has been one to spice things up. As the third base is being taken, the Overlord does confirm the Stargate. Oracle's already moving out. And Nikich is getting ready. Oracle getting live, not even. I was gonna say getting liver, but the Queens zone away the Oracle. Energy is wasted, and so far, so good. Nikich is holding and just droning. Just happily droning up. Saturating his bases. Queens are getting in position. We have a Spore in the main. And we have a Spore already ready at the natural. Third base a little bit more exposed, but that's why we have 3 Queens. Oh, and Nikich even getting a third Spore. Interesting. Usually at this level of play, we skip the third Spore just to be a little bit more efficient and more economic. For Nikich to invest into that Spore shows us that he's trying to play very safe. Very safe play here at a Nikich. It is a little bit inefficient, but safe nonetheless. It makes sense, especially if he does fear the aggression of NightMare. We have seen NightMare pop off. It was in game 1. Game 1 when NightMare, he just pulled Nikich apart. And it was terrifying. Terrifying what NightMare did accomplish in that first game. It is understandable. So that's a takedown to Tumors. NightMare rotating around. There's +1 on Blink on the way. Again, it's been the same build so far, the same follow-up, just standard play out of NightMare. And we do get 1 drone, but only the 1. So far, Nikich able to keep up. Does keep up, does get quite a bit of damage on one of those Oracles. Behind this, we have a Gateway Explosion. Once again, it is a 6-gate follow-up. We have 4 gates in the main, 2 gates at the natural, 6 gateways in total. Ooh, but NightMare's taking a lot faster. Okay, we have a pretty big deviation. So, with this tech, it looks like NightMare isn't going to be as aggressive. He isn't going to invest too heavily into his Stalkers initially. And he's working already on Colossus. Interesting. I imagine Colossus, not Disruptor. NightMare does lay his 4th for this. Just taking up towards splash damage. Meanwhile, at the same time, Nikich this time not going into Mutas, which I appreciate. The Mutas, it took them quite some time to really get some damage done and really pay for themselves. It is going to be Ling into Hydra. And a Fast Infestation Pit, this should be to rush into Hive, to rush into Lurkers. So much earlier Lurker tech here from the Zerg player. The Oracles, they do scout the Hydra Den. Very nice scout there from NightMare. Is aware of what's going on. And that might be a tell to be a little bit more active or to tech up. We have options. Second rover. Okay, second rover is on the way, so NightMare is working towards double rover, double Colossus production. This will be Colossus into Immortals. So this is going to be a very strong timing here with with 2 and then 4 Colossus. NightMare is building up. At the same time, Lurker Den. We already have the Lurker Den on the way, and we need those Lurkers ASAP. It's going to be really clutch, kind of the timing here between NightMare having Colossus and Nikich having Lurkers. We'll see who hits first. See who kind of reaches their final form and who can move out. We can see NightMare taking a pretty big defensive stance, throwing down the stasis traps. Lings, they hit the 4th, and we force a cancel. Big pickup. And NightMare out of position. We cancel the 4th base. Lings, they get the hell out of here. Oh, I say that. Did lead off too many Lings. A lot of Lings going to be going down. Meanwhile, the Hive is done. Vipers are on the way. Lurkers on the horizon as well. And Nikich, he's made it. We've made it to Lurkers. We've reached the promised land. Oh, a bit of a misclick there. Basically, we selected all the Lings instead of all the Hydras, so a bit of a misstep there from Nikich. That does actually waste a lot of gas. Oh, that actually was impactful. So we have 4 Lurkers on the way. Lurkers were delayed as well. Here comes NightMare pushing in. Reach our first 2 Colossus. Lurkers are ready. Observer, likewise, does spot the Lurkers. NightMare is aware. Do you have an Overseer? Boiling Hydra on the way. NightMare rotating over. The Observer is spotted.
Swarm forces under attack.
We focus it down. Big pickup. But we have Revelations. We have the Oracles. We have Revelations behind this. We still have detection. And that is going to be a big reveal here on the left-hand side. NightMare rotating around. Snipes an Overseer. More Vipers on the way. Wait, did we? Oh, that was the Viper being sniped. Oh, that's brutal. The Viper went down. Nikich bleeding off some Lurkers. Lurkers go down. Overseer as well. And NightMare just picking away at Nikich. At the same time, though, Nikich going for a Ling run by, but we are ready for this. We have Zealous in position. 5th base is going to be cancelled. Ooh, that's a kill, not a cancel. The Lings, they try to head to the 3rd. Stasis traps will be shutting Nikich down. And Nikich, he's in trouble. He lost the base. Ling run by didn't do much. But NightMare does turn around. Thankfully. NightMare turns around, and Nikich has some breathing room. He can take a moment to breathe. Oh, we're getting into Massive Mortal. Shields are triggered. That might be impactful. Once again, Revelation on the Lurkers. Do we have any Vipers? We have 3. They're gathering energy as we speak. Without Vipers, we can't really engage this. Do you need them? With Vipers, we can abduct. There are no High Templar with the main army, so no feedback potential. We could try to snipe with with the Stalkers, but for the most part, the Vipers have a lot of potential. And we're pushing in. Show us the yoinks. We throw down the Blinding Clouds. We yoink in 2 Colossus, but it's not going to be enough. 1 Colossus goes down. Do we get the other? We do not. Yeah, just a really chaotic fight out of Nikich. Not ideal. Oh my god, the spine shots. The Lurkers. Calm down. Massive Lurker shots going up. Nikich, he's holding his own. But again, the fight was chaotic and we bled out a lot of our Vipers. We have 1 left and we're not replacing it. 1 Viper gathering energy. Hydras, they're pinned back home. These Lurkers are looking a bit exposed. Oof. Storm going up. Ling run by. Does get spotted. NightMare is aware. Yeah, we have more cannons, more shield batteries on the way. Zealot run by, likewise spotted by Nikich. He does respond. NightMare does have his fleet beacon. Mothership is on the way. No Skytoss yet. We're getting there. We'll sell it right by the right-hand side. Gets the hatchery. Hatchery will fall down. And Nikich does need to hold on to one of these bases. Like, Nikich, he's on an even base count with the Protoss, which is never something you want to see. Yeah, Lurkers, they're going to be collapsed upon. We have to retreat. Quick reaction out of Nikich. Does pull away. Has the high ground. Clutch transfuse. Hatchery's getting up and running. We need static defense. Like Nikich, he has 6,000 minerals in the bank. We need spine crawlers. What I'm referring to, without static defense, like these Zealot run-bys, they can keep getting out of hand. So static defense is ideal just to buy time. Similarly here to like the cannons for the Protoss. No bailing speed. We just realized. Bailing speed has started. We're trying to keep up. Viper coming in, we get an Immortal. Not bad. Ooh, big storm though. Second Immortal falls. First storm did a lot of damage. Nice, Bailings were in position. Nikich ready for the Zealot run by this time. I'm still really concerned about the lack of static defense. Very concerned. It means that if we're ever out of position, those Zealots, they're gonna go ham. They're gonna wreak havoc. Router production has begun. Greater Spire on the way. NightMare gets a 5th, so does Nikich. The run by is ready to move out. Nikich pulling away. Oh, bleeding off Queens. Ramen moving in once again. We do leave some Lings in position, but without any Banelings, it's going to be a tough hold. Broodlord's on the way. Zealots have arrived. Very little creep to work with. We have to respond with the Lurkers. That does create an opening. And we're pushing in. Just some Lurkers. Nikich does hold. So a very tense situation. Carrier production has begun. So even though we have Broodlords, which is cool. Oh, are we overmaking Broods? We are. That's going to be a lot of Broodlords. Which means they have that much less Corruptors. Massive stasis. Does go up. Broodlords reveal themselves. NightMare is aware. And we're banking up carriers. We have 3 carriers already. Soon to be 6 carriers. Uh-oh. And Nikich, I don't think he's quite ready for this. I'm liking the Lurker counterattack just because this may free up supply. Lurker's pushing in.
Swarm forces under attack.
Carriers yet to fully be revealed. But the game may end quite quickly from here. Oof. Yeah, massive storm on the army. Immediately Corruptors are on the way. We are making Corruptors. We need time. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side, Lurkers have been cleaned up. NightMare defends. Nikich double expanding. Our creep is lacking. These bases are so vulnerable. We'll see if we can get them. Yeah, Spores on the way. 15 Corruptors as well. Nikich now aware that he needs as many Corruptors as he can get. Now, what's scary is that these bases are quite fortified. Like, unlike the previous game on Alkyone, where Nikich was denying the 5th, NightMare, he's happily on 5 bases. He's getting a 6th base as well. Like, NightMare has an economy. He has a bank. That's something that he didn't have last game. Oh, we catch out the Hydras. Hydras are going down. NightMare pushing forward. Nikich rocking on with his Corruptors. Bad start. Seer goes down. They'll run by the right hand side. Going for the base. I believe the base should fall. Only 3 Zealots, but yeah, they're gonna whittle away at that hatchery. And there's not much to respond. I just rotate over with the base. It's gonna go down. They pick up. cleaned up. Nikich, he needs extra gases. Like, right now, we have a mineral bank. We don't have a gas bank. NightMare actually with more gas than Nikich. So Nikich is in a rough position. I would favor NightMare 100%. Like, he's on a comparable base count to Nikich. Yeah, just even bases. Larger bank. And a more efficient army. Nikich can still take a bit of fights, but it's not going to be easy. I would like to see a Baneling run by. Lords have to pull back. Ooh, massive storm! Oh my god. We sit in the storms. Corruptors, they take a lot of hits. They take a lot of the storms to the face. Still making 3 more carriers. Viper's regathering energy. Force everything over. How many High Templar? We have 5 High Templar. It's at least 5 storms. More cannons, more shield batteries on the way. Let's go. And NightMare, can we engage? Doesn't quite get the carrier. Once again, the storms, they zone him away. Lurker's not quite in position. We see Links collapsing in. Massive storms on the Corruptors once again. We're going for the dive. Yeah, bit of a Hail Mary play. Does go for the power bomb. And it looks like we will clean up the Sky Toss. Interceptors get cleaned up. We shut down the carriers just barely. We should be able to shut them down. It's going to be close. Yeah, every carrier is falling, but the Corruptors are so low. The Archons, they go ham. There's still two carriers left. And the Grand Army breaks through. Very chaotic fight. And the Lurkers, they weren't a part of it. If only. Getting into Ultras, okay. Ultra Corruptor. I mean, we're down to 2 carriers. We don't need that many Corruptors. And with Ling Ultra, we can break through this. Do we have Kindness Plating? We do. We do have Kindness Plating. The Immortals are going ham. Yeah, they shut down the initial Ultras. Now, upgrades not ideal. +3 melee still on the way. I believe we have +2 Carapace. Am I blind? Do you have +0? Uh-oh. Yeah, the Ultras did melt. We're at least able to go for a run by. Not bad. We'll deny base. Base is denied. Nikich is running out of gas. That's what I mentioned earlier. Yeah, NightMare remaxes. Nikich kind of does. But not with the most ideal army. Ultras setting up first round. Would try to collapse on this. Trying to bait the army in. NightMare rotating on the right hand side. Does expose some of these bases, but oh god. Like, how do we punish this? You don't? We're gonna try to. Yeah, we collapse on the base. We're gonna be trading a base for a base. We do force a recall. Carriers do make it back. Ultras have to retreat. Nikich bleeding off a lot here. Bleeding off Lurkers, bleeding off Ultras. And NightMare, he wants to take the fight. He can and he will. Bleeds off carriers, but NightMare, he doesn't care. He has an overwhelming ground army. And NightMare, I think he's done it. I think he finally has done it here. He shuts down the Ultras, shuts down the Corruptors. And we can keep pushing. NightMare still maxed out. Nikich falling behind in supply. Do have a line of Lurkers to work with, but it's going to hold the line, at least initially. But Nikich, he's just zoned away from his own mining base. And we're pushing in. And now with Mass Archon, oh my god. Storms in the back line. Stopping the lurkers. I mean, it was an intense back and forth, and Nikich had his own moments, but he has been outscaled. We mentioned before, but Nikich was unable to deny these fringe bases. He was unable to deny the mining. Unable to stop the economy of NightMare. And likewise, Nikich unable to get his own up and running either. And in the long run, NightMare was just that much more efficient. Could afford that many more trades. And fun fact, there's no anti-air here. Yes. There's no anti-air. The one lone carrier. Hydras are coming in. Nikich, he's remaxing with Lynx. That's all he can really afford. Oof. Yeah, the swarms are brutal. Nikich, he will deny the 7th base, but Nikich, he's down to 1 base economy. Like, top right, this is the only mining base left. And NightMare has done it. Master Smasher's going up. Yeah, you better be careful. Civ Lurker Shelter even. Yeah, the final mining base goes down. Hatchery falls. Nikich trying to zone the army back. I mean, the Broodlords can do well for themselves. Wait, yo, the Broodlords! Force a recall. The Brood spot. Let's go. How many carriers do we have? Only 1 and 3 Tempest. So with the help of the Broodlords, we can actually break through some of these bases. As I say that, we're getting into Tempest production, so we're getting ready for the Broods. We're now prepared for them. This base is going to go down. NightMare ignoring the army, just going for a base trade. Okay, going for a straight up base trade. Nikich, long distance mining. Has no longevity in this. Has no economy. NightMare knows that. Denying a base. Nikich has to keep pushing. At the same time, Zealots break into the natural. And the Broodlords do turn back around. He finally brought down a base. Denies +2. Tonight +2. Nikich has to back off. Ooh, cleaning up some ultras. Drops as they try to come in. They get bullied back. Did you get links into the main? The cracklings. They cracked. They get cleaned up. And Nikich, he gets some damage done, which is nice, but again, he just can't fight this head on. The problem here is that Nikich cannot take a head on fight. He knows it. So he has to avoid it for as long as he can. Backing off, attacking these fringe bases. And NightMare, he's gotten to like the ideal army. Like, this is what you want in the late game. Tempest, High Templar, Archon Immortal with the mothership. Like, NightMare, he's reached his final form. And Nikich isn't quite there. Yeah, Zealot counterattack, 20 drone kills. 20 workers go down. Down to 19. And the Tempest, they can just pick away at this army. For as long as they so choose. Oof. And Lurkers get shut down, and now we're coming in for the final fights. I mean, we barely have anything left on the side of the Zerg. We just mow our way through. GG gets called, and NightMare will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. NightMare will take it. Very, very tense game between NightMare and Nikich. And again, Nikich had his own moments, but in the grand scheme of things, Nikich was unable to deny the bases of his opponent and was struggling to take his own. Over time, NightMare just had a larger bank to work with. He could afford trades. Meanwhile, the Zerg player could not, and over time, it was a bit of a battle of attrition there, and Nikich did fall apart, and NightMare was able to thrive. Congratulations, NightMare will take it. But a shout out to Nikich because, hey, we forced the ace match, and even in game 3, didn't look too bad at all. Not look too bad. So GG, well played. Congratulations, NightMare. NightMare will advance on the grand finals, but not in the way that we thought he would. Again, shout out to Nikich. Was looking impressive here tonight. Did look impressive. And we are getting ready for our next series. We are getting ready for our next series here. Do need a moment to set things up, but we have the lower semifinals. Geralt and Nikich were patiently waiting. They were patiently waiting here for us.